Welcome to the Fierce Goddess Collective. From our hearts to yours, we share the gifts of beautiful goddesses to the world. Hello, Fierce Goddesses. Well, do we have a treat for you today? I have got the absolute pleasure of interviewing my other Fierce Goddess collaborator, our beautiful Tosca. Welcome, Tosca.
Thank you, gorgeous one.
Now, I'm going to read a bio of Tosca. Wait till you hear this. This woman's amazing. All right. Tosca-Dee, also known as the Joyful Goddess, leads women to claim their power and passion to start living joyfully. With over 25 years of supporting women and children, she brings her knowledge and expertise from the education and counselling industry to truly understanding the intricacies and complexities of families and being a woman. Tosca has supported women, children, and teachers. Now, she told me not to include this, but I'm going to anyway. Tosca holds a Master's of Guidance and Counselling and a Bachelor of Education. She's also trained as a clinical hypnotherapist, expressive therapist, intuitive intelligence teacher, and trainer, and yoga teacher. Holy moly. Tosca's support ensures women claim their potent sacred power beyond the stories of overwhelm, frustration, and fear, to claim their self-worth by communicating their needs and trusting their intuitive magnificence so they never have to feel powerless with the demands of life. Goals are reached and joyful freedom is ignited. It is her mission for women and girls to live fully owning their worth, power, and holy magnificence and claiming a joyful, radiant life. Wow. And you know what? She does it. She does absolutely all of it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's a lifelong mission and a lifelong, inner development of reminding myself too.
Oh, yeah, but you embody the whole thing, my love. That's why it's so amazing. I mean, I didn't even know you had a master's degree. Where have I been? Living under a rock? Clearly a very disciplined woman is what I can say to all that. So let's start off with a question. So how would you describe yourself? What have I left? And what do you do in your everyday life?
Yes. How do I describe myself? I'm very much an eclectic person. I am a feeling-based person. So I go by the feels. And I know to live in balance and in sacred harmony, it has to feel right. And when I'm too much in my head, as life can be, that's when I realize, I'm out of balance. I need to come back in. So me as an everyday person, I do my meditations, I do my chanting, I do movement and yoga. I love spending time with my family and glorious friends. So to have a real rich, decadent, joyfully abundant life.
Well, that just brings me to something that you put up on social media just the other day. You have a new instrument.
I do. That is bringing me a lot of joy. It is called a harmonium and it is from India, and you can play music on it and you can chant with it. So I am at the beginning of the beginning, learning a new instrument, the joys and the frustrations. So yes, I am learning the art of kirtan, which is that chanting, beautiful tempo music. So yes.
Wow. Another feather in the cap. All right. So I touched a little bit on this one in the bio, but how do you support women with what you do?
So I support women a couple of different ways, definitely through my business, through programs like the Joyful Goddess about women claiming their worth and actually becoming aware of how they self-sabotage, how they undermine themselves, and the fear, the stories that we have been trained to believe about ourselves. So that is one of the things I do, plus my individual sessions. There's an intuitive goddess program, so we live our intuition. So that is definitely some of the ways. The other way is because I work in the counselling industry. I work in schools and I support families and children that way as well. So definitely empowering women for self-care, self-love, to actually being able to read their bodies so that they can make good choices for themselves that feel loving, that feel really loving.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? I mean, women, they just give so much of themselves that we lose sight of it all in the end, I think.
We do. And I think, you know, especially when you have young kids, you're in that motion, getting up, going to work, kids, you forget about yourself. You forget about your needs. You forget about what brings you joy. So to actually have that conversation, go, okay, how does it feel to be really joyful or at peace with myself? Like, oh, I haven't had that for years. Okay, so what can we do to support that? And then obviously when women are happier and mothers are happier, then their kids are happier too. You know, it all flows. The family is happier. So
Do you find that a lot of women feel a lot of guilt around looking after themselves and
I
putting
do.
them? Yeah.
The mother's guilt, that sense of, am I doing a good enough job? Am I enough? Am I providing enough for my family? You know, then comparing themselves with, other mothers, thinking they are not good enough. So it can be a real vicious cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Sorry,
love. Oh, we've got a bit of an internet glitch there.
No, I think that I was just about to say, I think the internet glitch. Well-being is a major thing. Not only our physical, our emotional, and our spiritual, like connecting back to Mother Earth is a big aspect of women feeling more grounded and centered. And same for kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
To spend time out in nature.
Yeah, it's such a big thing going. People don't realize, because when a lot of the time when we go outside, we're always wearing shoes. Kids are always wearing shoes when they go outside. And really, I don't know if you remember, but I touched on grounding in one of my newsletters that I sent out, and it was about standing on the ground and how much we actually benefit from doing that. So yeah, that's a very big thing, isn't it? Being one with nature and getting out there.
I agree. I know for myself, my own self-care practices is to really, and I organize it, and I know when I don't organize it, is a goddess day date, to get out in the wilderness, to get out in the botanical gardens, get out to a beach and just ground and be one and breathe with it, to say, okay, I am fully present. I am here, you know. I'm not thinking in my head 50 million things of what I have to do, but to go,
yeah,
just be here. That's all I need to do.
Yeah, it's amazing. Note to self. Bit of grounding. It's amazing how good it feels. It really does. All right. So what is something you do or would love to do that brings you joy or would bring you joy?
Yes. To actually keep practicing, we touched it before, the instrument, the harmonium, to actually become more comfortable with it, to actually explore, be more curious, more playful with it. So that is definitely bringing me lots of joy at the moment.
Well, you look like you're doing a pretty good job from the video that I saw.
Thank you.
Take it from an past piano accordion player. That is,
Yes.
You're doing a good job.
Thanks.
Not that I advertise that very often. So moving on. What are your self-love or self-care practices? Oh, we're glitching again.
Yeah, we are glitchy. Self-love. I love cooking wholesome food. That gives me a big sense of satisfaction, to actually have that sense of nurturing, like the body. Doing my own regular yoga practice with breath, and also the chanting that goes with it. That's a big one. And also just journaling. I journal, I tap when fears come up or insecurities come up. I tap, I meet those fears. So that is a big part of my self-care and self-love. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great, those ones. I should do more of those myself. So here's a big one, because you're so accomplished in a lot of different areas. What is one of the biggest learnings for you?
Mm. One of the biggest learnings is meeting myself in the zone of fear.
Mm.
To actually go, I am, and it's not like fear, anxiety. It can be fear of a belief, fear of an attachment, fear of, yes, of, success, not success, self-worth, no self-worth. Am I good enough? I'm not good enough. All of those places where we doubt, that is my biggest learning. To actually not deny. I used to run 10,000 miles away from, I'm not going there. It feels yucky. It feels uncomfortable. I don't want to meet myself in the pit of fire. But yeah, I have found that they have been my biggest diamonds, where I've learned so much more about myself,
Yeah.
about other people.
It's something I heard just the other day, and it was growth equals pain and struggle. Because you, like you said, you're meeting yourself, you have to grow, so you've got to push through on some of those barriers. So yeah, it's not always comfortable, and a lot more than not, it is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable, but you're getting there. You're going to come for a breakthrough.
You're right.
Oh,
you said that the growth is uncomfortable, and I think,
yeah.
Well, the feeling is feeling highly vulnerable.
Yes.
That space of vulnerability, that space of not knowing, the space of, I don't want to be in this feeling state, but I am in this feeling state. And the only way to move through it is to move with it and through it, and to accept it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, an example of that is when I did the course with you, the first one, you actually said to all of us, can you come online and do a live with me, just as a testimonial, which is fair enough, because, we were the first ones through. That was a big one for me, because I'd never done anything like that before in my life. And I thought, if I can't do it now, I'll never do it. So yeah, I think I was shaking when I did the first one with you. It was just, but yeah, here we are.
And
now it's like second nature.
Exactly. So yeah, it is. It's meeting, going to the edge of that space, and then flying through it, or flying and falling at the same time.
That's right. But you'll eventually get through it, get up and move on.
Yeah.
Oh dear. All right. So when was the last time you used your intuition?
Yeah. I use my intuition very regularly, to definitely feel into the detail.
Oh, we got a glitch again.
What's going intuitively, and the glitches that are out. When I'm still, I can be more attuned to my intuition. But intuition for me comes even in the supermarket, like buying stuff, and go, oh no, I've got that salt and pepper. I bought that last week, and then meanwhile I've got this, buy the salt and pepper, and then my rational mind comes and goes, you don't need that. You've already got that. And then I get home. Where's the salt and pepper? I've given it to my daughter, or I've done something. So definitely the regular nudges every day, the nudge to get down and write. Like I get that sense of feeling, you need to write now. You need to stop, and you need to come into your zone. Definitely get a strong voice, and then I get a soft feeling. So I sort of go between strong and loving.
And by the way, she's got a book coming out too. We didn't add that into the bio. You do have a book coming out, which is we just can't wait for that. So this question is a bit difficult for Tosca, because she's got a few of these. Do you have a favorite goddess, and why?
Yes, I have lots of favorite goddesses. If I could show you my room, I've got goddesses all on the windowsill. Big painted goddess that my family and I painted together. And one of my favorite goddesses is a number of abundance. She is the Hindu goddess of abundance.
What's the name of her? Could you just flip stand, lovey?
Yeah, Lakshmi.
Lakshmi. Okay.
And the reason why I love her is not only, abundance of wealth, that's all wonderful, but abundance of heart, abundance of joy, abundance of living a passionate, pleasurable life. And she reminds me to step into the pleasure of life, to be the vibration of pleasure and abundance.
Wowzers. Did you want to add any more, or you just want to stick with Lakshmi?
How long have we got? We could do a series on goddesses, but we won't do that today.
Okay, all righty. Okay, so what are you celebrating at the moment?
Celebrating that I've just seen my beautiful daughter in Perth, and that is a glorious celebration, especially when our
children are just
fly the nest and
yes,
create their own space. But I'm not, celebrating that.
Oh, the internet munchkins are playing with us today.
There are lots of wonderful things. They are, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So, Tosca, do you have a favorite goddess? Oh my God, it's just glitched on you again. It just went stop. All righty, so Tosca, what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite goddess, and why?
I do have a favorite goddess. I have several favorite goddesses. If you could see my room, I've got goddesses on my wall, goddesses on the big painting that my family and I did together. And one of my favorite goddesses is the goddess Lakshmi. She is a Hindu goddess. And to put it simply, she is the goddess of abundance. She is the goddess of wealth. And the reason why I love her is not only to have, wealth, we all want wealth, but to actually have the wealth and the abundance in our hearts, to actually have abundance in our relationships, to have that joyful abundance in creating whatever we're creating. So she's one of my favorite goddesses.
Oh, lovely. Oh, we love goddesses. So what are you celebrating at the moment?
Yes, lots of celebration. Just got to see my beautiful daughter in Perth. That's always a celebration. The other celebration is we are just coming to the end of completing the Intuitive Goddess program. So to the end of that beautiful program of bringing intuition to everyday life. So that is a celebration, because everything I do, there has to be celebration.
Totally.
So that is its point of celebration. Absolutely.
Yes, I do recall the end of the 2 programs of yours I did, and loved it. Loved the circle that we did and all that sort of stuff. It was lovely. Well, that brings us to the end of our little interview, which is, well, it's been wonderful. I've even learned something. I did not know things about you, and I've known you a hell of a long time.
That you have.
That I have. So, as we always say, Tosca, you are loved, you are held, and you are cared for. And thank you again for sharing yourself with me and with all the fierce goddesses of the world.
My pleasure. Big love to all.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for listening to our Glorious Fierce Goddess Collective podcast. Remember to subscribe and share it with your family and friends. And from our heart to yours, please, goddesses, keep fierce.